hello.
What's up? What's up?
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Listen, my husband said I can lead the show tonight, and he's over there
Letting her lead because she's amazing.
gripping his knees.
you
himself.
know you know I got my hands on my knees like
What's about to happen here? But listen, welcome back.
Oh God.
To another episode of A Love Like That.
Yes.
A love like that. And I know we've been asked the question, why a love like that versus a love like this? Because we're not here to tell you, hey, this is
to
the
do
way.
it like
exactly
right, like
to
how
do it
we
like
do it.
We're doing it.
Right.
Everybody has to find your sweet spot and what works for you in your relationship. Right. But a love like that is whatever your pinnacle of love is, whatever it is that you signed up for, what you thought you signed up for.
Right. We just know the tools. We just understand the tools that will make it easier for you to get to that point. That's
Absolutely, to get to what your pinnacle is. And not with all of the, okay, well, he's only going to give me, A, B, C, and D%, or she's, what your true picture and your true version of love is. That's what a love like that is. So whatever it takes to get there.
Yeah.
Whatever we can bring to the table, that's what we're trying to bring. So just wanted to start the show off with that.
Yeah, I love it.
That was just something I got recently. So anyways, but how you doing today, babe?
Yo, I'm good. I'm great. It's a great day to be alive, and great day to be married to you.
Oh,
so yeah,
you, babe.
I have to make sure I give her the the little love nuggets, to her.
Babe.
So she always has those.
Thank you.
But yeah, no, I'm good. I'm just glad to be here on a Love Like That podcast, and I'm Brandon. This is Jacquelyn. We're your favorite relationship coaches.
Yes.
So we are here. But as she stated earlier, my wife Jacquelyn is taking over for today's show. So back to you.
Listen, after he did the introductions, I might not have been trying to introduce us today. I mean, who knows? But thank you, babe. I appreciate that.
You can tell who's done radio, right?
Listen. Come with me, grow with me.
Yeah.
We're.
The thing is though about you is that you're such a talent though. You really are. You have such a personality. You have a great personality. You really do.
Thank you.
And so you can do it all. And so I want you to do it all, grow through it all, do it all, be it all. Okay.
Thank you, babe.
So, yeah.
I appreciate that. He's always encouraging me, guys. He's always encouraging me. Thank you.
That
babe.
I am.
Thank you. Well, listen. I know it was a lot going on. It seemed like in the world this week,
yeah.
I'm, just seeing this pop up, that pop up, and by this pop up, that
and
pop
actually,
up.
I'm my apologies. I'm going to interrupt you real quick.
Go ahead.
Because I got a lot of DMs on our Instagram page. By the way, follow us on Instagram.com. On Instagram at a love like that. Underscore.
Don't forget the underscore.
On Instagram at a love like that underscore. Okay. But yeah, we had a lot of feedback on. We asked the question: how much transparency is too much transparency? On the last show. Then I asked it on our page. I know you posted some things on there, but I was one who posted the question about is there such a thing as too much transparency? And like 71% of you guys said yes. There's such a thing as too much transparency.
Oh, yeah.
So
very true, very true.
And so I think we kind of need to explain that. We don't have to explain it really, but I think a better understanding when what we say is transparency.
Yeah.
What we say is transparency is just honest conversation about our thoughts, not necessarily about confessionals like. Yes, I did it, or whatever the case is. I mean, you have to know what works for you.
Right.
But it helps you if you have those honest conversations before any action happens that could be catastrophic. That's what we're saying.
Right.
If you give the person the opportunity to receive whatever it is that you are feeling or want to share, and then you give them the opportunity to rise to the occasion to become the person that they need to be for you, or for them to become the person that needs to allow you grace. That's the type of transparency that we're talking about. Not necessarily, I stole some ice cream when I was 5 years old.
Right, exactly. Like, hey, the following
You have to know your
things-
spouse.
Right, coming home and the following things happened today.
Right, you
Absolutely
have to know your
not.
spouse. So I think, just in case people were misconstrued what we were discussing. So I wanted to get that out the way. But I love the responses and the interactions, the phone calls that we had about that, though. So just want to get that out the way. But anyway, okay, continue on with the rest of the show.
No, but even in what you're saying, just with the whole transparency piece overall, for us, it's those, and it wasn't necessarily like we're looking back, we're coming up on 11 years. So we're looking back over the 10 years that we've been married, plus the additional how many years since we've known each other and started the back and forth journey since 1999.
Right, exactly, yeah.
So just kind of going back, and even if the transparency happened much later, in the relationship, or it's just now we're at a point where we really are able to kind of look back and be like, hey, that's what that was in that moment, and really just kind of discussing or talking through that. And I think those are the pivotal turns in our relationship. Like some of those conversations that maybe other people would have chose not to have are the turns that it's kind of like, wow, so when did we come in this direction, or when did we get in
here?
This space? Like, those are the conversations, just the constant. It may just be a random check-in in terms of how you're doing, and checking in consistently, because just like there are seasons in a year, there's seasons in marriage, there are seasons just in life. So checking in consistently.
Yeah.
Whatever that is for you, once a month, like consistently, because we've known each other through so many phases in life.
Right.
And if we were still kind of caught up on that one conversation we had 5 years ago to kind of calibrate where we are, we would be so lost to the new people that we are.
Right.
Because we're constantly growing. And so that's why the biggest thing, communication.
Yeah.
And that's just, we're checking in for where we are at this moment in life. And if I can give you a glimpse of where I am at this moment in life, it gives you, better hope of understanding me in this moment in life.
Yeah, I think that's true. Because I think, that allows you to receive the person better, but then also to appreciate the person better because of that. So what you're saying is 1,000% true on that. I can think back to a couple of different times where I think, the transparency has helped us become stronger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And even in the continuing the conversation, and then I'll loop it back around to what I was initially going to say. But we had a conversation just kind of earlier this week, just kind of based on the calls and the conversations that we've had about, the conversation on transparency. And just at one point, I told you, what did I say, babe? I didn't know how much fun we would essentially have.
She thought I was going to be Elaine.
It wasn't. And I hate that word. I don't use that word. Just fun. It was fun. Like, I enjoy an adventure.
He loves me. And
I enjoy an adventure.
Yeah.
And it was just a fun, like, hey, marriage is duty, motherhood is duty, and all of those other things mixed into it. But, you don't often kind of get to see hey, when the parents get to go and, cut up and kind of get back to being the parents, and just always kind of be in that space of, this is us.
Right.
We've created all of this over here,
right.
and we've created this life, but this is us, and we're the foundation of that. So constantly pouring into that, so it takes root to all other aspects.
And
of
that's
our
smart
marriage.
transparency. So mind you, she told me that after we had been
was-
married.
yes,
After we had
yes,
been married
I'm
for a certain
sorry.
amount of years. So
This was right.
smart transparency. I don't think it would have been smart for you to tell me that before we got married,
no,
because we
absolutely.
probably would not have been
Absolutely.
married.
But it really was a moment of, wow. Like, I really,
Wow, he's actually a fun guy.
no, it's just when you really sit back and take account on life,
Yeah.
like just keeping it real,
Uh-huh.
and I understand how fragile life is, and just how every moment is, like, you really have to take advantage of it. When you sit back and evaluate, like, I was just so in that moment, and just honestly in a lot of moments, just please, babe, honestly, was just wow. Like, I appreciate the man that you are for me, and just, we were able to, like, have fun, and just, I would have never thought, like, I'm making up this picture of, who Brandon is in my mind, and I'm going to keep him.
do.
Right, I'm going to keep him in this box, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh no, like,
Uh-huh.
he literally is everything you need him to be. And so
Yeah.
this was, like, definitely after, it was just like, babe, honestly, if I'm going to be real, I didn't know, how much fun, it would be.
Yeah.
And I was just, beyond my wildest dreams,
Oh, thank you, babe. Look,
beyond my wildest dreams. So,
look, that was. I mean, but I you know what? When you said that, I couldn't be upset about it or whatever the case is, because it's like I understood what you were saying. I understood it, and I understood where we were, and I also could receive it better because that was you saying that I'm not boring.
oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Now, if you were telling me that, and then you were telling me I was
and
boring,
it's kind of like, hey,
that would have
babe,
been like,
this is the check-in, and you're still here.
Mm-hmm.
We have not progressed. Then that
that would have been something else. Whatever the
right?
case
but
is.
it was such a wow.
Yeah. And then we told that.
Oh my gosh.
Then we talked about that with our couples group, and you said that, and they were like, "Dang, like wow, that's like, boy, y'all be honest." I'm like, that's what we do, man.
But it really is just a friendship. It really is the friendship in it, but really just
that's really what it is.
A real overall appreciation for what we have, and really being insulated in the sense of, like, we know what we have is what we have.
What did you think? Okay, let's just scale back a little bit. What did you think it was going to be like? If you didn't know if it was going to be fun, what did you think it was going to look like?
What was it gonna look like? Babe,
Be
I didn't know.
knitting sweaters all day.
Honestly, you get those images. No, I saw my parents definitely, like, have fun and, like, go to dances and get dressed up, and then we would go to, like, the Johnson's house. I remember we were always over there for New Year's Eve, and the kids would be there, and then my parents would go out. So I saw that, but, like, as a kid, you don't know what that looks like on the other side of,
right?
What they're
being
out there.
A married couple on that side.
Exactly. And, so you see like, the routine of it, you know, in terms of the picking the kids up, the coming home, like, the getting the kids ready, the
monotony of it.
You see the monotony of it, and not sometimes enough of just those other quiet moments and the moments that mean the most to you, So it was just kind of like, okay, I don't know, You know, like, you don't know. I mean, I'm keeping it real.
So she's like, I got nothing.
Right.
I got nothing.
You don't know. You don't know until you're in it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know until you're in it. And
Yeah.
I was pleasantly, I thank God for you twice every day, babe.
Oh, thank you. Double time.
I really do.
Double time.
Because I really never could have imagined a love like this.
Oh, wow.
I really never could imagine a love like this. So
I appreciate
I am
that.
thankful for that. And that is part of the reason why we are even here. Because it's, I know, as we've stated in other earlier episodes, it really is, we're on assignment, you know.
Yeah.
Like this is ministry for us. This is it's a lot going on as
It's
it
bigger
relates
than
to
us.
it's so much bigger than us. It's a
Yeah.
lot going on and a lot of narratives and a lot of conversations about marriage, but like,
I appreciate your intentionality on that. So
yeah, definitely.
you know, I
We want to shed some positive light.
Yeah, we do. So,
And
yeah,
just shed the truth. Like this is our truth, not to make it look one way or the other.
Yeah.
This is just
yeah, because I know we all lovey dovey and
truth.
whatnot, and you're probably like these mofos is probably faking it, but
I'm telling y'all, this is
no, trust me, we have our moments, trust and believe,
yeah,
but
for sure.
because we have a good understanding of of what we need to do as far as communicating the right things to each other and doing it in a way that is productive and not counterproductive, that has helped us along the way. And so that way we can get back to being in that loving space.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's what helps out though. But no, the transparency part is important. I think on all levels. I mean, I could, you know, we'll probably cut this part out where it's, but it's cool. But yeah, I remember like when my ex-girlfriend had reached out to me and I was like, babe, here's what's happening.
We're not going to cut this part because the people need to know. The people need to know. But no, I appreciated that because that was a situation that,
For whatever reason, it's like every girl that I've ever dealt with has, for whatever reason, has come back into my life at some point in time in our marriage, or as you know, whatever case, or there's been an interaction, and it's like, you know, how are we dealing with that? And so I've had a few.
It's good to, like, even in that moment, you know, I'm like, I may be like, okay, babe, well, you know, when did she whatever the case is, like the back and forth, you know, even though you may have questions as it relates to it, just appreciating that it really is, hey, okay, this is what it is. Nobody had to tell me that. I didn't have to go looking for that. Like, he told me. So it's kind of hey, this is A, B, and C. Like, get in front of it. Like, if you don't, you know, if
And
it's
that came
nothing,
from
it's
learning.
nothing.
That came from learning.
Yeah.
From just previous situations, which
Yeah.
weren't bad. I didn't do anything bad, but I probably wasn't smart either.
That may just be like, you know, sometimes I'm like,
So,
babe,
yeah.
with females, you know, conversation can't go too long. 'Cause
Yeah.
Brandon's a nice guy.
And that's
So-
really what it was. So yeah, I had an ex that had reached out to me, and that conversation went on way longer than what it should have gone. And I told her about it afterwards.
Yeah.
And there was nothing inappropriate on my part as far as, you know, asking any questions, like, you know, it was nothing like that. But it was just the length of the conversation went longer than probably what it should have been, and I understood that. So when another situation with another ex had reached out, it was you know, all right, Brandon, you've been on this road before. We already know what to avoid, and half of that is just making sure that she knows ahead of time what's happening. And so that's what I did. I was like, yo, babe. She just reached out to me out of nowhere, or she wants to have a conversation, and how are we going to get around? You know, I'm just letting you know what's going on, so that way we can actually, you know, be good. And really, what it was, I don't know what it is, but it's like it always has to be like some type of like closure conversation with these people.
Yeah, now that was it. Like,
And
this isn't
I told her,
just,
I was like, you know, it wasn't like any closure like on my part, but more so on, I guess, on their part. And for whatever reason, I mean, we're talking like, I've been married for like what, 3 years. I think that first situation, 5 probably next whatever. And the other one was like a year ago. So we've been married like 9 years, whatever the case. Like I said, Jackie and I have been good and married, and for whatever reason, the closure just wasn't good on these other individuals' parts. And so I was like, yo, this is what's going on. And she, because of me being honest with her about what was going on, she was like, you know what? Call the girl.
Yeah.
Call the girl. Give her this conversation because clearly she needs it.
I'm telling you, I get it.
And that's what, and
I'd
so.
be sad too, y'all. I'd be sad if I missed out on Brandon Martin. Thank you.
Look, I appreciate it, babe. But because of that, like I said, she was like, you know what? Call this girl. Call this girl. Y'all have this conversation and do what you need to do, Brandon. And I was like, I appreciated that,
Yeah.
I think half of that is because Jackie knows who I am.
Exactly. That's big.
I think because of that, that made it
big.
easier for her to do that. And
big.
so, had my conversation with the young lady, and she said what she needed to say. I listened and I moved on, and that's what it was, And but like I said, had I been trying to keep it a secret, trying to maneuver around, and then something were to happen, then it would have looked bad on me.
It would have been a totally
or whatever the
different.
case is. So if I get in front of it, then we know how to move together, and because of that, we have grown even more tight in our bond in our unit. And it's just those building blocks.
It is. It's those building blocks.
That's what
definitely.
it is
On both ends.
Yeah.
Even with conversations, just all across the board. Like, hey, babe, okay, like this is what was brought to me, and
right.
This is
yeah.
whatever it is. It's like this literally is my best friend. So I'm who else to?
Right.
Let me back that up. Everybody needs to know the plan. Like, this
right.
is.
We keep talking about that. Everybody needs to know the plan.
Everybody needs to know the plan. We are going through life. We have vowed to do our life together.
You can't run the plan if your teammate doesn't know the plan.
Exactly. This is your teammate. This is my teammate. So everybody knows the plan. So everybody knows the play. Period. Point blank. That's it. Like, that's it. And so even just when it matters, like Brandon knows what matters to me, and I know what matters to him. So in those conversations and being transparent, that works for us.
Yeah, and the respect factor. So if I present something to her, or she presents something to me, and it's something that I'm not in agreement on. If I do not agree and I say I don't think this is the best thing to do, she may or may not agree, but she trusts my decision.
I do.
And the same as I do for her. I may bring something to her. If she's not comfortable with it, is what it is. Doesn't matter what that may be. We just have to trust that we have to respect what we have, and I have to respect her. She has to respect me, and it balances out. So that's part of the transparency. The transparency is what helps us get more respect from the other person in the marriage.
Exactly.
And I think that's helpful. So big ups to you, babe.
Yeah, babe. Look, I wanted to, like, when we were talking about the whole transparency piece, and just back it up from the transparency piece and just that check-ins, like this morning, Brandon talks about we need to get back to going to sleep at the same time, because I'll go to sleep early and then I'm up the crack of dawn, and he just went to sleep 2-3 hours ago. But like, it's
and
funny.
She's jumping all on me. I'm like, babe, if you don't get up off me, like.
But those conversations, like, now some of those
she's a big kid.
Have been like some of our best conversations.
Oh, yeah.
Pitch dark.
Yeah, no, they have been.
Just
yeah.
like, hey, babe.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a story, or or hey babe, like, so what was actually, like, it's so random that we just kind of pick up maybe where we were earlier in the day.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, and then both people, well, I would say both people are engaged. Maybe I'm engaged and Brandon is
I know how to be
coming along.
I'll come along the ride. I know how to make it work.
Or something.
Yeah, I know how to make it work. But yeah.
But just that time, like, we try to maximize the time that we have just for us.
Yes.
You know, as much as we can.
I agree. So yeah, that makes it just as important as anything else in our marriage. So, and sometimes even more, you know, just being there for each other and with each other. So, you know, that was that. But yeah, that was part 2 about transparency.
Yeah. Go at your own pace, go at your own speed, but
do what works best for you, and know the audience, know the environment.
Right. You
know when to do it. And yeah, exactly. If you know that if I say this, she gonna cut me.
Right.
Probably don't say it. But
you know who you married to. But even just to get past that, like, even if you feel like
sometimes
hey, we're
needed.
stuck at that point,
yeah,
some of those conversations are needed to pull back another layer.
Yeah.
Because
you can't get to the other side of the happy if there's something that's holding you. Like, you know, for us, like you said, you know, that first year for us was just so much going on, and we eventually worked it out though. But had I not been really honest about a lot of things for me, I don't think we would have gotten to that point, because I think it helped her to recalibrate.
Yes.
Really, I guess her perspective of me, and I think in a weird kind of way, the appreciation for me, I think.
Yeah.
And so it allowed us to kind of really rebuild what it is, because I always say, you know, God is trying, when he puts you two together, God is building what it should be. But unfortunately, sometimes we get in our own way of what the sculpture should be. And so sometimes God breaks down that clay, and you have to start over again so you can build up the way that he really wanted you to. And that's what we did. So we had to do the hard reset and just really just make it right. But none of that could have happened if there had not been some type of transparency and honesty in the relationship. So that really helped out tremendously. Tremendously. And as much as I hate it though, I'm glad, in a weird kind of way, I'm glad that I did it, because I think that has helped us out, like I said, immensely, you know, because I don't think we would have gotten to this part of marriage at all.
Right.
Ever.
And that is what even the whole conversation last week started with the whole transparency. Just the actual acknowledgement of, hey, you know what? Things happen for a reason. And if this wouldn't have happened, like, where would we be today? Like, if this wouldn't have happened, in looking back at it and pulling back the layers and looking at everything that happened from it, like, this event changed the whole trajectory of our relationship.
Yeah.
You know, and really learning the lessons in that, like, learning the lessons. Every day is a lesson. Life is a lesson. Like, even in kind of going back to that's what I was going to say in the beginning, just kind of looking at the world in terms of, I'm like, Miguel and his wife, you know, gotten a divorce, and Tia and her husband have got a divorce, and
Tom Brady, Giselle.
And then, I know I'm late to the party, but Maisha Chaney and Wayne Chaney. Yeah. From Preachers of LA.
Yeah, like, the pastor, they were they're big proponents of marriage.
Yes, huge. Are going their separate ways. And so that's why, you know, I feel like at this point in life, who else to be transparent with, like, besides the person, like, that you have vowed to spend the rest of your life with.
Right, to build a life with.
to do all of these things, if I'm going to be transparent with anybody, I'm going to be transparent with you.
Right. And you know what, though? So, backtracking a little bit here, but talking about that, that was something I really struggled with you, because when we were dating, this shows you how much I love her, how much I loved her and love her, but at the same time, though, how imbalanced I was with this. Just being honest. The whole honesty aspect, because if I'm going to spend my life with you, I need to be honest. Mm-hmm. And when we were dating, you know, I was so enamored with you. I was so obsessed with you. I was so in love with you. I wanted to make you happy at all times. I never wanted to disappoint you, never wanted to upset you. I always wanted you happy. That's what it was. And so I used to shrink myself in order to make sure that you were good. Mm. And that was bad for me. And I said, and I think because of that, whether or not you knew it or not, I think you sensed it. And that's the reason why we just always went through our ins and outs, breakups and makeup and breakup or whatever the case is. And it was like, you know, look, what the heck is going on here? This is stupid. But the moment that I knew that you and I were done and I stopped caring, I got to understand myself. And I really got to understand what it was for me, what I needed. I knew I wanted you, but I needed to know what I needed to make me happy, and understood what my values were, what my principles were, where my level of tolerance was. And once I was able to figure that out, and then I said, God figured out the way for us to get back together. I would have never expected it, but it did. I had enough love for myself where I said, you know what? I love me enough to understand I'm not about to sit here and just deal with whatever. I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to share what I need to share. And it's a level of value that I have for myself as well as you. And because of that, I think that helped us out because, like I said, the transparency. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to sit here and bite my tongue about certain things. I know I may need to lose the battle on some things. Mm-hmm. It's not a war really, wherever the case, but I have to understand, you know, sometimes you may have to like take a L on something, but in the grand scheme of things, whatever the case is, we're going to say what we need to say to each other, because it's not about getting back at anybody or being tit for tat. It's about really projecting us and moving us forward. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I have to say certain things in order to move us forward.
Absolutely.
Because I love myself enough not to allow certain things to go a certain way. And we need to make sure we're on the same page, just as well as you need to say what you need to say, because you love yourself enough. And you love me enough to understand, hey, listen, I need to speak up and talk about this because we need to get this thing moving the right way. Yeah. And we receive it honestly. Mm-hmm. So that honesty really comes from that transparency, which comes from having the love for yourself. You love yourself enough to actually say what you need to say. Yeah. And that's really what it is, you know, and I think that that's crucial. So anyway, I just want to say that little piece there. I know that was like really long-winded.
Hey, I mean, that was needed. That's needed. It's those moments. It really is like you said, just understanding, like, you knew that I sensed something in that moment. Mm-hmm. You knew that even though I was, you know, I can admit that I am a reformed, spoiled brat. I've grown, right, babe?
Yes, you have.
You know, I'm the youngest, I'm sure, you know. I have a little amen corner. But
Jazz, Janine, y'all know how y'all did it with the little sister here. But she's awesome though.
But I mean, you know, I've grown, but really like having those conversations, babe, like you really letting me know about myself. Like sometimes it really just, it takes that hard reality of like looking, okay, you know what? And sometimes like, we know we're being a brat in the moment. It's, you know, I've told you, like, sometimes it's like watching a movie, like, don't do it. And then I just got to still do it, you know, whatever the case is. But I'm like, you know what? 10 minutes.
Don't do it. Don't do it, girl.
Give me a good 10, 15 minutes, babe. I'll be right back.
Right.
Like, you know, I don't know. Sometimes you just have to.
That thing used to be days, but now it's like 15 minutes and she's good.
Go through the motions, but just let me step away for a second, and I'll be right back with you. But really, just I feel like, and this is just me in marriage, that I mean, you're becoming one person, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
we have vowed to become one at this point. So I have to be, and that's where that compromise comes in. Part of me, I have to be who you need me to be.
And vice versa,
And
yes.
you have to be who I need you to be. And that's clearly within reason. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, I know who I'm married to.
Right.
So I know, like, he's not going to come with this laundry list of off the wall craziness.
Right.
But in the true essence of what Brandon needs, I need to be that. Like, that is my duty as your wife. And I willingly, you know, do that. Like, let me know what you need and we're going to make it happen. And vice versa. But if I can't be honest with you and tell you what it is that I truly need, then how do we ever get to that point? So that's what I'm saying, like with the transparency, like what I truly need from you and what you truly need from me. Like if everybody understands what the plan is, then either I can say, oh, okay, you know what? I like that plan. Like, that sounds good. You know, but maybe let's make this tweak, that tweak, or the other tweak. Or I can say, hey, this is what I need. And the other person can say, you know what? I'm not capable of doing that. Like, I can't do that. Like, that's too much. You have asked for 7 days a week.
Right.
I'm not available to do that. I'm not capable of that. Whatever it is that you need from that other person, just being very clear about what it is and giving that person the other or the opportunity to say, okay, you know what? Honestly, like, no, I can't do that. Like, that totally goes against who I am. I don't believe, whatever it is, you get feedback. It's not a, let me send you over my list of demands.
Here's my list of demands.
Right, and like,
you have 48 hours to respond.
I'm saying, so, right. Like, it's not like that. It really is. It's going to be a give and take. Like, if that's not what you're able to do or that's not what you're capable of, then let them know what it is you're able to do. Like, what is your counter? Like, I mean, it sounds crazy, but
it's real stuff, though.
It's real stuff. Like, get back to having those conversations. If everybody truly understands what the plan is, then, and everybody's in agreement.
Yes.
In agreement of the plan, then how are we misstepping?
Yeah, but then also, because I know in another episode with our friends Sam and Brandy, talked about the ego and people leading an ego, but then also sometimes receiving in the ego. So you can be honest all day long, but it's about what the other person, how the other person receives it.
Yeah.
If they receive it in their ego, they become hurt, and then they shut down. And sometimes you have to kind of check your ego to receive whatever it is that the other person is telling you. You know, sometimes it's not just about leading without ego. Sometimes it's about receiving things without the ego as well. I have to receive things from her, and I have to check my ego. I'm like, okay, you know what? That's what she said. And I have to hear it out for what it is and be logical in my understanding and not emotional in my understanding. And the same thing for Jackie, you know. Now, I would say, I think she's probably, well, not probably, she's more emotional about things. And so I have to be careful about, yeah, you never. Right. So I have to be careful about how I approach or how I deliver it. But I need to make sure that it still gets delivered. Absolutely. And that way we can actually move forward and grow. And I think that's really what it is. Understanding that the other person is not trying to just be mean-spirited or not trying to screw you over and not trying to make things more difficult. It's really us just trying to understand, you know, really what it is. And just loving through all aspects, though, you know, all aspects. That really makes it, you know, really that's what makes marriage sticky. It's sticky. It makes it stick. And that's really important, though. So yeah, you know, like I said, you know, part 2 of transparency.
Part 2 of transparency. Listen, babe, I think that was, I mean, hey, what else can we say?
I know. What else can we say? I can say this. If you guys have not signed up for our premarital class, sign up today. We have one starting. We're gonna have one starting fairly soon. We're gonna have the dates. We're gonna put the dates on the screen, and we're gonna have some stuff online for you guys to understand when we're starting at, as well as sign up for our workshops. And we're gonna be working on a retreat here pretty soon. But we're gonna have some workshops that are gonna be happening very soon. So make sure that you guys check us out. Like I said, Instagram. A love like that _ and on Facebook it is a love like that LLC. I know I hate putting LC on everything, but that's all that was available. So yeah, a love like that LLC.
All of that. All of what he said.
And like I said, sign up for our coaching programs, relationship coaching programs. Sign up for our premarital courses. Sign up for our retreats, our workshops, our events. Like I said, we have so many things that are going on. And also, ding, 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 subscribe to our podcast. All right. Subscribe to A Love Like That podcast. Go to on YouTube. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts. Okay. So like I said, we are there. Whatsoever you do, not whatever, but whatsoever you do, subscribe to A Love Like That podcast.
All of that.
Yes.
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 All of that.
All that. But no, great job on everything, babe. You did phenomenal. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, guys. I'm growing.
All
Come
of that,
along for my journey.
I tell you, she's a special person. She's a special person. She's a special person, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, listen. That's right. We are A Love Like That podcast.
Yes, we are.
See you next time, friends.
All right, take care. Peace.